Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, it is my great honor to welcome you here today to our G20 Digital Economy Ministerial Meeting to discuss our collective work and effort on how to address policy issues and agree on our ministerial declaration. History will not look kindly at us, each one of us as a digital economy leader. If not in 2020, we put digital first for our people, our nations, and our economies. Prior to COVID-19, we have agreed in Japan, in Argentina, in Germany, and in China that digital transformation is the largest transformational lever for growth and acceleration. Post-COVID-19, it has become the lifeline and the backbone for our kids to continue education, for our loved ones to receive care outside of the ICU room, and as the gateway for opportunities for our youth, women, and entrepreneurs. The analog world is so polarized with deglobalization and supply chain disruptions. We cannot afford such a disruption in the digital world. And let me remind you of what is at stake. Since the beginning of the pandemic, $6 to $9 trillion worth of economic value is projected to be at risk. 400 million people have lost their jobs, and the number of people that have entered extreme poverty, a record high of 700 million people. We have to listen to our people. We have to look at the facts and the numbers. And this is why the time is to act now, because the need is so urgent and huge. And with your leadership, and I want to acknowledge you and your teams, we have done a fantastic job to put this agenda and this declaration to bring the world back on track, on realizing the opportunities of the 21st century for all. How we can go back to our 3 agenda items. How we empower people with digital and physical, focusing on youth and women. How we safeguard the planet and shape new frontiers. On empowering people, we have to address the elephant in the room. It is absolutely not acceptable that in 2020, half of the world not connected. Half of the world does not have access to basic education, healthcare, and in some cases, sanitation, clean water, and energy. And our progress in 2019 was just 1% to close down this digital divide. And I want to acknowledge the leaders who have showcased their success stories of how we can accelerate the push to closing down this digital divide. And I want to share with you our story. In the past 3 years, we have pumped $15 billion in the kingdom in partnership with entrepreneurs in the private sector to close down this digital divide. As a result of that, not only we fought COVID-19, flattened the curve, but delivered more than 11 million virtual consultations, a 5-fold growth from 2019. And we're successful in deploying, with partnership with my co-chair as the president of Data and AI, the largest AI and data implementation in education, where our students were able to conduct their high school and their graduate acceptance tests with computer vision, with the highest levels of integrity, maintaining the integrity of the education system. This is why I want to acknowledge you here today for supporting the G20 presidency with the push to closing down the digital divide and connecting humanity. Moving on to safeguarding the planet, how we move from the linear economy to the circular economy with the 4th industrial revolution technologies. This is why, as the leader in energy, we as the kingdom have committed with Aramco to the cleanest upstream activities. And we have seen it. The moment you employ tech and digital with data and AI, you see results. In H1 alone, the first half of 2020, we have seen, because of the push to remote work, remote education, remote healthcare, and changing the way we live, work, and play with digital, emissions have dropped by 8% in the first half. Moving on to shaping new frontiers. During COVID-19, there were so many headwinds, but if there is a single tailwind that we all collectively can agree on, is the tailwind that we have seen and observed the largest cultural movement in embracing digital. And this is the perfect opportunity for us to put digital back on track to realize the opportunities of the 21st century and agree on the key principles of our declarations. How trustworthy AI is going to contribute and generate economic, social, and healthcare benefits while being inclusive to accelerate the realization of the Sustainable Development Goals. The importance of data free flow with trust and cross-border data flows that will facilitate data flows while putting consumer and business trust first without prejudice towards our policy positions and policies. The importance of smart cities, how they will be the growth engines, with a focus on mobility as the thrust to give us the airlift to deliver economic, social, and environmental sustainability. How we're going to measure the digital economy, and we can manage what we can measure. And I want to acknowledge you specifically on helping us advance this specific piece. And finally, the importance of securing the digital economy. And on securing the digital economy, we have just observed the largest economic crisis that we have seen in 90 years, coupled with a healthcare crisis. This crisis is putting already $6 trillion at stake. But let's remember, and let's make a call out today, that the world cannot afford a digital crisis because the same value, $6 trillion, not only can be compromised in months, but in weeks, days, and minutes, God forbid, with a digital crisis. That is why I commend you for your leadership on supporting the presidency and driving consensus towards articulating that goal and that objective.